It's Thursday, June 14, 2018, and now I have the glasses on because it's time for us to talk about E3 Devastation. That means these are the things that I was slightly disappointed in, things that I'm not so excited about uh, that came out of E3 or didn't come out of E3. So I did a previous video, of course, on the things that I am excited for, that I cannot wait. I am happy that they happened. And now I'm going to talk about some things that didn't happen, some things that did happen, but I didn't enjoy. I'll let you know right now. We're going to start with no Metroid Prime. Are you kidding me? You spent 15 minutes on Smash, and you couldn't even dedicate a minute to Metroid Prime. Nintendo sits there and they say, well, we just wanted to concentrate on the stuff that was coming out at the end of this year and early next year. And Alana Pierce made a good point. She said, didn't stop you from mentioning Metroid Prime last year. So, why couldn't you give us a little bit more this year? Now, the Tokyo Game Show is big. So, I mean, I think it's every bit as big. It might even be bigger than E3. And especially for the Japanese developers and producers. So maybe we'll see some of this stuff over there at the Tokyo Game Show. So all we can do is keep our fingers crossed that some of this stuff will maybe show up over there, which would be cool. Everything doesn't have to be at E3. It's just, it's America's most anticipated one for the most part. But you got to remember, the Japanese companies, a lot of them are probably going to focus a little bit over here and then focus a little bit more over there. So I was also a little bit disappointed with the Nintendo press conference having 30 different games on this sizzle reel where they just banged them out every 3 seconds. They were showing a game, and they just didn't spend any time with any of them. Like I said, they spent way too much time on Super Smash Brothers. To me, they should have they could have made that press conference a little bit longer and they spent all that time in the treehouse with Super Smash Brothers. They spent, to me, it's spend a little bit of time with Super Smash Brothers, then tell everybody, hey, the treehouse, we're really going to be spending some time, and then spend a little bit more time with those other games. Show them some love. They're on your console. I think that's why a lot of people tend to shy away from Nintendo or didn't really care that they weren't supporting Nintendo back in the day, for the last couple console generations, because Nintendo focuses more on first-party stuff than anything else. And maybe it's just because they're so used to focusing on first-party stuff because they didn't have a lot of third-party support. So I'm hoping Nintendo will, kind of re-embrace the rest of the gaming companies that are releasing on their system and show them a little bit of love too, to keep them happy so that, we continue to get a lot of great games on the Switch. Then, of course, a lot of this is stuff I didn't see. Final Fantasy VII. I'm worried a little bit about this game. Now, maybe the Tokyo Game Show will finally give us a look. But I'm a little bit worried about this. I thought for sure we would see something. We haven't seen anything in a while. So I thought for sure this time we would see something. And it didn't happen. So maybe they're waiting for the Tokyo Game Show, but what I'm probably going to say is that this game may be a little further behind than we think. Now, the Tokyo Game Show, this is what I was trying to figure out here. The Tokyo Game Show happens September 19th to the 23rd. So that gives everybody a little bit more time, and maybe 4 months from now, or 3 months from now, we'll get a little bit more on Final Fantasy VII. We'll get maybe a little bit on Metroid Prime. Maybe we'll see a little bit more in September. But Final Fantasy VII, it's a little worrying that we didn't see anything. I mean, nothing at all. There are people that were predicting that this game was going to be out in 2017 because it was the 20-year anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. Now I'm starting to wonder if we're going to get it on the 25-year anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. We'll get it in 2022. I still say 2020 is when we're going to see this game. But if we don't see anything at the Tokyo Game Show in September on Final Fantasy VII, I'm going to have to reevaluate that. Because this game may either be further behind than we think, or there's problems with it. So, they got to get the game right. They can't misfire on this, because obviously they're going to put a lot of resources into it. So they can't misfire on this one. Another thing I wasn't super excited about, Sony's press conference. I really didn't like that press conference. I really didn't. I get it. They were focusing on 4 games, but they still managed to make time to mention Kingdom Hearts 3 in there, and they managed to make time to announce Resident Evil 2, and and they just said, we're just going to focus on 4 games. Don't judge us too harshly. What? Please be nice to us. Please. We're not going to do a good job this year. We already know. And that made me even like it less. And I think I gave them a D-. If I was to grade them right now after hearing that, I'd give them an F. Because I know what the corporate speak was when they said, we're only going to focus on these 4 games that you already know about. They had nothing ready. And a lot of people are saying maybe they've already shown us the best of what they're doing, and they don't really have anything else they're working on right now. So they got to show us that stuff, because that's where their resources are. I don't believe that, but some people were saying it. I think Sony's got a lot of developers, and Sony's got a lot of people. There's other stuff happening. They just chose not to show a lot of it. But it just felt like a lazy approach, especially those people that were interviewing at that desk. That was the worst of it all. It was just awful. So it was just, I've loved Sony since the PlayStation and the PlayStation 2. Just to see that just was so disappointing. No mention of Fable. They kind of hinted, but not really. I was really hoping we'd see something from Fable. But it's probably a little bit too early in development. I think by the time they put that team together at Playground Games, they might have only had maybe a few months to work on this thing, so they're just getting their feet wet. They're probably still getting to know each other there. Fable, this game could be 4 years off. It really could. But I hope to see a little bit more of it, but we may have to wait till the next E3 or for a leak, sometime, this year. Fallout 76. Disappointed. And I shouldn't be. Because everybody said this is going to be an online game. Everybody said that. Now, if you can do what you do in Grand Theft Auto 5, which is private servers, where only your friends can play with you, I'm all in. Don't mind playing the game like that. But if I have to play in a world where I'm just minding my own business and somebody just decides to nuke my little tiny settlement, I'm not going to enjoy that. I'm not going to enjoy having to rebuild all the time. I know Todd Howard said that it's easy to rebuild, but that's not fun for me. Rebuilding what I've already built isn't fun. If I want to break something and make it something else, that's different, but I don't want some. It's like if I'm proud of something I made and then somebody comes in and wrecks it and then I got to make it again, that's not fun for me. That's not fun gameplay for me. If I build it, I want it to stay there until I choose to get rid of it. So I'll have to see what they say more as the game gets closer to its release. Already all my friends are saying they're going to play it, which means I'll probably play it, but how much enjoyment I get out of it will really depend on how many times I'm really having to, how much I struggle with other people, messing with my immersion into the game, because I'm not an online gamer. I'm old school. I've been playing since the Atari 2600, and the online gaming thing is just not something I do a lot of. But the game looks terrific. It really does. So anybody else that, I'm sure there are millions of other people that cannot wait for this game, and I'm sure it's going to be a phenomenal game. I'm sure it is. I don't see any reason why this game would not be absolutely terrific. So while I may not be excited for it, that doesn't mean you can't be. You can totally be nuts for this game, because hey, if you love playing online, enjoy. Death Stranding. Don't know what it is yet still. Still don't know. And I still think that Sony letting Hideo go the full Kojima is going to result in a very odd gaming experience. And it may not even be a game at this point. What was that game? Something 1876 or something, where it was basically... you would basically shoot a little bit, and then it was cinematic, and then you would Disorder 1776 or something. I can't remember. But this feels like it's even going to be more cinematic than that. Konami may have been the balancer for Kojima, and Kojima may have been a balancer for Konami. But Sony letting Hideo go the full Kojima may result in a game that we just kind of go, ooh. We're going to go through a lot of reactions, and we're not going to know what we're doing. And we're going to have fun a little bit, and then we're going to go, ooh, should I be having fun right here? Why am I plugging things into a baby? That's wrong. Stop doing that. It's evil. But yet it lights up the little blinky thing. Bethesda, Starfield, and Elder Scrolls 6. 2 games, less than 2 minutes. I still don't know what Starfield is. I know what Elder Scrolls is, but we don't know where it takes place. And all we saw was a mountain and a field. For all I know, that was a part of Skyrim you didn't put in the Skyrim game, for all I know. But, I want to know more about Elder Scrolls 6. I know it's being developed. I knew it was being developed. We all knew it was being developed. We want to see more. We love the Elder Scrolls series, so we want to see more. Well, maybe you don't, but there's a lot of us that do. And the last one, Cyberpunk 2077. I'm only disappointed in it for this reason. It's not that the game doesn't look great. It looks fun. But, first person only. When you're used to playing The Witcher, which is a third-person view game, there are some fans that are upset that it's going to be a first-person game. Now, the people at CD Projekt Red said, trust us, the game works better in a first-person view. It's more immersive. So, I will choose to believe them. But I can't say I'm not disappointed. If I get to create my own character, I want to see my character. But CD Projekt Red assures us it will be, the first-person view will be appropriate. In that world that they are constructing, it will be appropriate, and we will appreciate it. So this may be a first-person game I get heavy into, and I'm disappointed it's not a third-person game, but I am cautiously optimistic that the first-person view will work for this game, and I will enjoy it nonetheless. But still a little layer of disappointment. So what were some things at E3 that kind of messed you up, kind of messed with your head, kind of took you out of the excitement of maybe some of these? I mean, is Death Stranding something you're still looking forward to? Were you ever looking forward to it? Finding out Fallout 76 is online only. Finding out Cyberpunk is first-person shooter or first-person RPG. What did you think of Sony's press conference? Do you think Nintendo should have spent a little bit more time talking about a few other games? Let me know down in the comments below. And with all that being said, to the troops, past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom.